Hey everybody, welcome back to Dope Like Comics. We are doing John Byrne Volume 2 after way too long of a break. And I'm going to keep this one a little shorter because I had quite a bit of a break between reading this. Life happens. It matches Volume 1. So what's covered in here is Fantastic Four 261 through 295 and Annual 1819, Alpha Flight number 4, Thing number 10 and 19, Avengers Annual 14, and material from Secret Wars 2, number 2, Epic Illustrated 26 through 34, What If 36, What If number 2, What the number 2 and 10, Thing 7, Fantastic Four Roast, and Fantastic Four Special Edition number 1. So this is the end of John Byrne's era and run, and this is what's on the actual book. This matches the spine from here, minus the picture. And then we get a lot of the characters that we see sort of throughout. But Byrne's era is really great. It's not perfect. There's um, some things about it that I don't like, but overall, really good run. Some of the best Fantastic Four, and especially if you like the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm. She is great throughout John Byrne's run, but we really start to see a lot of the culmination of her character arc and journey in this particular volume. So Grunwald and Stern come in involved here. We got Ron Wilson. John Byrne does most of the art. Some various inkers involved. Table of contents. And we do get number pages throughout. Let's just look at the spine for a moment. Generous, like, I think it's called the eye or the tunnel. Pretty good. So had no problems with layover and reading. So as you can see, I don't need to hold it up open at the start. Binding is fantastic. So light spoilers. We do get sort of a recap of the previous John Byrne volume just to bring you up to speed. What's happening? We start off with John Byrne, who was writing Alpha Flight as well at the time, number 4. So this is a story. It was okay with the Alpha Flight team, and the Watcher is involved. We get the Shi'ar Empire here. But haha, this is one of the most famous Fantastic Four stories, the trial of Reed Richards, which is basically Reed Richards going on trial for sparing the life of Galactus previously, and healing him and bringing him back. And so the universe, various planets and cultures and alien throughout the galaxy, brings Reed on trial for allowing Galactus to live, which is akin to him being responsible for any deaths going forward. So John Byrne is sort of a insert character. It's always weird to me when writers or authors or artists insert themselves into the story, but he's a character throughout it. The actual John Byrne is a character throughout it for him to witness this trial. But needless to say, fantastic art. This is one I would love to spoil, but I'm not. This is really good stuff, though. And it really starts to answer the question of what purpose does Galactus serve? What does it mean to take a life or choose not to help a life, a sentient life? And what are the ramifications and who in the ethical and moral arguments that happens to when you can save a creature like Galactus, should you? And what moral obligation do you have to do so? So it's really good. This is like one of the most definitive stories. So we have Odin here, who's taken a part of the trial. The Shi'ar Empire, like the whole cosmic universe is here to understand this. And one of the things we get here established is Galactus, his look changes depending on your viewpoint. So to us, he looks like this. To another alien race, he may look like this. To another alien race, he looks like this. So what he actually looks like, or his how he is perceived, changes. But that's good. Good, good, good. I don't want to spoil that. Here we get Smart R. I don't want to go through every single issue throughout this, but what's important to note is that through these early issues is that there are going to be spoilers here. There's no way to talk about this without spoilers. So uh, just understand. So we already have Franklin, who is Reed and Sue's son. She is pregnant again throughout this book, some of it. We have Ben, who's here. A lot of what's happening through this Secret Wars happens in this. So we get a recap of Secret Wars. So we're gonna go through Secret Wars and Secret Wars 2 later on. So I won't recap Secret Wars, but basically Ben Grimm, for some reason, does not come back to the Fantastic Four after that event. There is a Thing Omnibus by John Byrne that chronicles Ben's journey throughout the course of this, but throughout the rest of this book, there's not going to be. We have some Thing issues, but basically, he's not a part of the team. So in comes She-Hulk, which is awesome. She-Hulk is amazing, and John Byrne could be argued as the best She-Hulk writer ever. This is before her ongoing with Byrne, I believe. But he's going to be here. They have some invasion of the actual Baxter building. She-Hulk is here. And John Byrne just draws an amazing She-Hulk. So we get Ben. Oh, so here. So Sue, I think this is the one. This is intense. So Sue kind of gets sick from, I think it was one of the Avengers. But basically, so they call in all the gamma experts, and Reed is suspecting it's because of the radiation in their unique physiology. So they bring in like Sasquatch, they bring in Bruce Banner, they bring in all the top heads. So here it is. So they bring in Michael Morbius from Spider-Man, the lead in Blood Radiology, Walter, who is Sasquatch from Alpha Flight, Bruce Banner, of course, who is the Incredible Hulk, and Reed, and they're trying to figure out what's going on with Sue. And they eventually arrive to the point of, we're going to need the unique scientific expertise of Doc Ock. And Doc Ock is a villain, a Spider-Man villain, primarily. So Reed has to leave to go and convince a villain to come back and help. And this is where we're going to get into some spoilers. Heavy spoilers. So this is some hijinks, some back and forth. But as they come back, we get perhaps the most devastating, definitely so far, panel within a Fantastic Four, probably all of comics. We come back and it's just the blacked out page where Sue Storm has a miscarriage and she loses the baby. And it is so heavy the way that this story happens. And the news is delivered to Reed because as he successfully comes back, he's already too late. And we just get this blackout page, which is just wow. The weight of this story, if you have kids or ever been through a journey of fertility yourselves, the weight of this story is just so intense and heavy. And we come back to, we're going to get Doom, of course, is going to be throughout here, but the ramifications and the weight and the emotional weight of losing a child. And so this is one part of Sue's journey throughout this, because again, remember, at this point, she's still the Invisible Girl. So she's still like seen as sort of like, she's not seen as like a lesser member, but the way she has been written up to this point for the 20 plus years of this story, 25 years of the of Fantastic Four stories, has been very much not given her equal weight as a part of the team. So she's still the Invisible Girl at this moment. So we get here, we get some other big stories of what's happening. We get the Kree and Scroll in the annual. So Byrne drawing some. Oh, he doesn't do the pencils here. Mark Bright does the pencils here. But we get the Scrolls bringing in the X-Men. And one of the plot threads that happens throughout here that I am not a fan of is while the Thing is gone, a relationship starts between Johnny and Alicia Masters. And come on, that's your that's your homeboy's girl, man. What are you doing, man? I'm not a fan of that pairing. I don't know why that was decided, but he tries. So we're getting some fallout of Reed sort of wanting telling Sue like he normally would, hey, you stay back. Hey, you need to take it easy. And Sue sort of starting to lash out, starting to take her autonomy as a member of this team. So we get some different stories. Wyatt is back. I love that character. He's just so cool. We ended up meeting like, oh, I won't spoil who that is. I won't spoil who that is. Let's move forward here a little bit, because there's other man. John Byrne draws an amazing She-Hulk. This is an interesting story. Like people are like taking pictures of She-Hulk while she's on the roof and her recovering that. That's a great little story. We get some Doom stuff and what's happening with Doom. But as Doom comes back, the Baxter Building, and this is like a pivotal storyline, but basically the Baxter Building goes up and Doom, or is it Doom? Is it Doctor Doom? Explodes the Baxter Building. Throughout the rest of this book, there is no Baxter Building or home base for the Fantastic Four. They actually have to move in with the Avengers and operate out of Avengers Mansion. This is referenced a lot, this storyline, throughout the rest of the book. Because as they come back, this is also during Secret Wars 2, which is weird, but we get the Psycho Man, who and Psycho Man and Hate Monger, who are now manipulating the emotions and feelings of specifically Sue Storm, in which is where we get Malice. And Malice, as you can see, the costume is more sexualized or revealing. There's a reason for that, and I think it's representative of the repression of how Sue Storm has been written for the last 25 years. So she's under the influence, mind altered, of these evil characters, but it kind of brings out her repressed anger, resentment out as a physical, character. So now they happen to go against Malice. And this is where that costume sort of comes from. That's pretty famous. And this is where Sue really starts to flex how truly powerful she is, because she fights She-Hulk, who is incredibly powerful, and she just beats her down. And Sue is just like running through. So this is the Hate Monger, who is a character who thrives on the hatred of people, and driving promoting hate within individuals. And so like he's rising up violence throughout the cities. And while we won't go into how the story ends, Sue, who is Malice at this point, It's just sort of wrecking the team, and they have to sort of like find a way to convince her to come back. A little bit of a recap, some Secret Wars 2 nonsense. But here, so now we're in the aftermath. So this is important. So now we're in the aftermath of the Malice story, and this is where Sue is again bringing up, "Hey, we need to go to defeat the Psycho Man who did this to me, who sort of violated this my inner mind space." And Reed trying to logically say, "Well, maybe we should be dealing with other issues," but Sue really standing up of like, "Hey, this was a violation of me as a person. This should be important to you. We need to go and take care of the Psycho Man." So, which is an important part of her arc. This one's a kind of a heartbreaking story of a kid who looks up to John Storm, tries to become like the Human Torch by setting himself on fire, and the devastation that that wreaks on um, Johnny. Wanted to go back just for a bit in issue 284. So this is still when they're going to fight the Psycho Man. This is when we get the official Sue going, "I am now the Invisible Woman. I'm no longer the Invisible Man, girl. I am the Invisible Woman," which is just sort of again her continuing that arc, completing that arc of coming from a background or treated as a secondary character to being a fully empowered member finally. And this is go alongs with sort of her power increases to make sure that she is completing her story arc. Through here, through the rest of this, we get Infant Terrible comes back. There's some scroll. They end up doing a crossover to go against the scrolls with the Avengers. The Avengers and Roger Stern sort of co-writes this with Byrne as he comes back. And oh, this is important. Through this, we get. I think the first appearance was Avengers 263. They found what would be the cocoon of Jean Grey, but this is where we actually discover what's inside the cocoon. So this is after the death of Dark Phoenix, the death of Jean Grey. This is how she comes back, um, and how Reed and the Avengers are trying to figure out how to open it. They're trying to figure out, is this who this is, what happened to her. Bring in the X-Men to it. But then we just get sort of a few collections. We're continuing this romance, unfortunately, with Alicia and Johnny, the Beyonder. This is the Beyonder from Secret Wars 2. He is on Earth at this point in time. We get this is Doctor Doom's adopted child. Uh, he is going through some issues at this point, and then we get, which is one of the wrap up stories here of the Avengers and the Fantastic Four find this giant orb that's sort of expanding in Reed Richards' hometown, ends up transporting them inside to a land where they're worshipped, and the world within this bubble is sort of advancing at a super accelerated pace. So thousands of years are passing inside, while it's just like a day outside. So they have to stop this. And then where it ends up, where this sort of finishes up, they tease the Thing is going to come back starting next. But where this ends up is the last Galactus story, which is written by John Byrne and Terry Austin did the inks. This was not finished. So it's supposed to be the last story of Galactus, but the story's never finished. So it's really disappointing because the art is just gorgeous. We got some extras. So we got the what if issues back here. We got some pinup pages. Wow. I thought they had the original. I think this was the original. Yeah, Kevin Nolan's She-Hulk pinup from Marvel Fanfare number 18. This was the inspiration for that entire story. In fact, in issue 275. So She-Hulk, so some covers, a lot of good extras. So this brings us to the end of the John Byrne era, and it was pretty good. Definitely one of the better eras that we had up to this point and throughout all of Fantastic Four. So that is it. So please give us a comment, like, and subscribe. Let us know, what did you think of the John Byrne story? Do you like the Johnny Storm and Alicia Masters dating? What's your opinion on that? Should she be with Johnny or should she be with the Thing? Let us know in the comments.